Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the manager of the Whisky Exchange in London's glistening Covent Garden. We're here with Simon and Franchi from Simply Whisky.
Hello there, how are you? Thank you for tuning in.
We're here to talk about Burns Night and what it might mean to you and to me and to you. But I know the most important thing from Burns Night for me is the whisky. And you gentlemen look thirsty, so let's do something about that.
Great.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'll have two.
What we have, marvellous, is the fabulous Arran Quarter Cask. This is from the Arran Distillery, based on the Isle of Arran. Not the youngest distillery in Scotland, but certainly not the oldest. Only 25 years old, the distillery.
And this is the refresh of the Bothy.
That's
right?
exactly right, the Quarter Cask. So it's been in a smaller cask, which kind of intensifies the aging a little bit.
About their 25th birthday this August, so quarter cask, quarter century. Lovely choice, Alex.
Nice, yes, nice. I see what you did there, Simon. That's marvellous.
And this is bottled at what percent is this? This is cask strength.
It is cask strength, 56.3, so
But
quite
yeah,
powerful.
approachable on the nose.
Very much so. I'm getting loads of beautiful, soft fruits. It's elegant. It's
Creamy.
definitely bit of toffee. Lovely stuff.
I get that pear drop.
Yeah.
A lovely way to start a Burns Night celebration.
Burns Night celebration, Simon. So raises my first question. So what is Burns Night? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? What is Burns?
A very good question. You want to say something?
Oh,
Please?
yeah.
No,
for
please.
me, Burns Night encapsulates everything about Scotland in the one thing. But on top of that, it's the perfect time. It's the perfect time for a party because Christmas is long but forgotten, right? Hogmanay, you can't remember, right? New Year's Day, you want to forget.
Yeah.
What else you got to look forward to? The Easter holidays, the summer holidays, they're too far away. No, end of January, 25th of January, Robert Burns' birthday, time for a party.
Yes, we do love a party, that much is true, and I'm sure you do as well. But of course, Burns Night is a celebration of the life and work of Robert Burns, Scotland's national poet, a fine songwriter, and if I may say, perhaps the greatest Scot that ever lived, even greater than Billy Connolly and Alexander Graham Bell. But thank you for the laughs and the telephones, guys. Now, we know that Burns was born in Alloway in Ayr in southwest Scotland in 1759, but sadly, he died at the tender age of 37 in 1796.
Not that so sad though.
Well, it is
Well, in those 37 years, let's not forget, in those 37 years, he wrote nearly 200 Burns poems and over 400 Burns songs, and he didn't start writing his first poem until he was 15 years old. So he had 22 years of an incredibly prolific period where he wrote all the works that he did.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, and let's not forget, on top of that, he was a tenant farmer, so he had to tend the fields, and towards the later part of his life, he was an exciseman.
Ooh.
But we don't talk about that.
No.
No.
Well, I mean, Burns was a complex character. I mean, it means a lot of things to different people, you know, Burns Night and Robert Burns. I think if you were to ask, you know, what Burns Night means to us, I guess, you know, I grew up around the corner from Burns Cottage in Alloway, and I used to pass the cottage twice a day en route to and from school, and so I guess I feel a bit of a personal connection to Burns. It's probably worth touching upon, you know, why Burns is still relevant, you know, all this time on, you know, more than 250 years later, we're still celebrating Burns Night. And I think perhaps, I mean, we don't celebrate Shakespeare's birthday, or do you?
No, listen, well, that's the thing. What is it about Burns? The French don't celebrate Baudelaire.
No.
No, the Irish don't celebrate Yeats. The English don't celebrate Shakespeare, do they?
No.
In fact, who knows when Shakespeare was born? Do you know when Shakespeare was born?
23rd of April?
No, 23rd of April.
okay.
Did you Google that? In fact, if you guys know, put it in the comments. If you know Shakespeare's birth, put it in the comments, let us know. I'm willing to be disproved. But we know when Burns was born, 25th of January.
Yeah, so whatever you have,
Every year.
whatever you have planned for your Burns Night, and I hope it's going to be a good one. I guess the question that maybe is in your mind, it's certainly in mine, you know, why are we still celebrating? And I think it's because I guess he's quite unique in how ordinary he was. You know, he never really lost touch with the everyday aspects of life, focusing on the simpler things, relishing and writing about those things that I guess we can all associate with as part of the human experience. And of course, his writing still means as much to us now as it did then, and these values, these principles, I think, still resonate. For example, social and political change, speaking up for others, preserving nature, go Greta.
Greta would love it.
Right? Freedom, equality, love of life. When Burns said, we're all Jock Tamson's bairns, a man's a man for all that, what I think is that, I guess no matter your race, colour or creed, we can all associate with that. It's all about inclusivity.
And exactly. I totally agree. And that's the other thing, what it means to me, it's about inclusivity. It's what Scotland is, it's an inclusive place. We love Burns. When I say we, the Scottish people, we love Burns. But that's not enough for us, we want everybody else to love Burns. Right? So it doesn't matter where you're from, your race, colour or creed. We want you to love Burns as much as we do.
So I guess I feel there's a bit of a barrier. We wish you could be here with us. We don't know where you are. We'd like to know where you are.
Got a full bar.
You
should be here.
No matter where you are, doubtless on Burns Night, you'll be celebrating Scottish culture, art, poetry, food and music.
Oh, talking about food. We're having our first whiskey. I guess this would be the starter for our Burns Night experience, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What about if we had a little starter?
Let's mix it up.
That could work. So what I've got here is an oat cake with Isle of Mull cheddar.
Isle of Mull cheddar.
Right, so we're keeping it on the islands.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Thank you very much.
And I suppose the idea about this one is that the experience should be greater than the sum of their parts, right? The cheese is fantastic. The whiskey is incredible. Mm-hmm. But let's see, if we put the two together, do we get something else?
Yeah. I mean, tasting whiskey with food is always quite an interesting one. I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of it in my career. I always find... Thank you, yeah. This sort of thing takes a lot of work. I always find that a little sip of the whiskey, a little bite of the food, a little sip of the whiskey, so that you really get your mouth used to all of the flavours.
Okay. I'm willing to try that. Usually I just throw it in. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, that is an alternative way of doing things.
No rhyme, no reason.
Is just as valid.
So whiskey first.
Little sip of whiskey.
Little sip of whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got a little sip left.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so much.
Good stuff.
Do you mind if I put a word in edgeways?
Please do.
Yeah. So, I want to focus on you guys, what will you be doing on Burns Night? Do you have any courses planned? You don't have to stay with cockalookie soup for the starter. You can mix it up a little bit, and it's fun to do so. But really, the reason you're all watching today is probably not just... I'm not going to assume it's Francie and I. You're on the Whisky Exchange, so you're probably interested in drink, Whisky Bay. How about a wee bit of poetry before we carry on to open up the evening, so to speak?
What do you think? We could do.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah?
Do you know any poems?
Oh, one or two.
Okay.
May I? Well, seeing as we're in the Whisky Exchange and we're drinking some fabulous Scotch drink, it seems only natural that we do Scotch drink. Robert Burns' poem
Lovely.
to the Ishka Bay.
Right, I'll make space for you, Francie.
Oh, and you've got some barley for me.
Here for you.
This is what it's made from.
What you are certainly going to need.
I'm going to have a wee bit more of that. Some more Aaron. Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
So, Scotch drink. Gie 'em strong drink until he wink. I'll start that again. Gie 'em strong drink until he wink that's sinking in despair, and liquor good to fire his blood that's pressed with grief and care. Then let him bows with deep carouse with bumpers flowing over, till he forgets his love of debts and minds his grief no more. Solomon's Proverb 31, chapter 6, verse 7. Let other poets raise a fracas about vines and wines and drunken bacchus and crabbit names and stories rackas and great oor lug. I sing the Jew Scotch Birkin macas in, glass or jug. O thee, my muse, good old Scotch drink, whether through wimpling worms thou jink, or richly brown remour the brink in glorious fame. Inspire me till I lisp and wink to sing thy name. Let husky wheats the hawks adorn, and aints set up the ronny horn, and peas and beans at teen morn perfume thy plain. Leaves me on thee, John Barleycorn, thou king of grain. On thee, aft Scotland chows her could, the supple scones, the whale of food, are tumbling in the boiling flood wi' kale and beef. But when thou pour thine own heart's blood, there thou shines chief. Food fills the wane and keeps us leaving, though life's a gift no worth receiving, when heavy dragged wi' pain and grieving, but oil be thee. The wheels of life go downhill screeving wi' rattling glee. Slange
Very nice. Thank you very much.
That was fantastic.
Well done, pal.
That's all right.
Cheers. Well,
A lovely poem for a lovely whiskey.
lovely poem for a lovely whiskey indeed. Well, I mean, that's what gone down an absolute treat. Would
Yeah.
you like to try something a little different?
Yes, please.
yes, please.
Interested to know what you are tasting at home, whether you are tasting along with us. Thank you very much. How old is this one, Alex?
This one is 15 years old.
It's a wee bit young, a wee bit
young?
small.
It's young, it's not too young, it's a bit small. Small for a 15-year-old.
It's small for a 15-year-old.
Small for a 15-year-old.
It's young for a
Well, anyway,
15-year-old.
listen, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's an absolute pleasure. It's wonderful to have you guys here.
So 15-year-old whiskey, what is it?
This
What
is
have we
from
got?
the Speyside Distillery Ben Romack. This particular whiskey was voted by you guys, by our customers, the best whiskey, best Scotch whiskey, best whiskey for 2020. Fantastic. Done blind out of 6 whiskies that were chosen. This is the one that came out on top. I love it. Ben Romack is kind of an unashamedly old-fashioned. It's sort of trying to make whiskey the way it was 100 years ago. So although it is a Speyside, it has a wonderful little trace of smoke to it.
well, I've had the Ben Romack 100 proof, which I loved. I haven't tried
fantastic stuff.
this one, but obviously you have a great taste. So here's to you guys for judging this your whiskey of the year.
There's a beautiful treacle note on this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm getting lots of wonderful spice as well as that kind of beautiful kind of Speyside smoke. So it's not like
Yeah.
your Isla smoke, which is very medicinal and salty and coastal. This is much more a kind of, how would I describe it? I would say a kind of sooty smoke that you get from Speyside. It's lovely
Very nice.
stuff. Yeah, really,
Very
really good.
nice.
Really, really good.
So this is kind of like, what you would have this with your main course,
This is what I would have with my main
Yeah.
course if I was
Beautiful.
to be pairing it with food.
Well,
Oh,
can I
nice.
make a suggestion then?
Please.
How about we have a haggis, given it's the Burns Night celebration? How about, and if you'd like, we can address the haggis.
I think that sounds like a brilliant idea.
It's
Okay.
a great idea.
Right, let's do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
okay.
Haggis?
Haggis?
Ah.
Yeah. Aye. About that. So, we had a haggis.
Okay.
It's a very good one too.
Aye.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's award-winning.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah. But it's the Kinder's oven's not working. So we had to think on our feet, and we've got you a packet of haggis flavoured crisps.
Fine,
Mackies.
not a problem.
Right.
Again, it's as much your Burns Night as it is ours, so whatever you've got at home, it doesn't matter. Enjoy yourself. I'm going to address this packet of haggis crisps, but I would like you to pipe it in. Forget about it, doesn't matter.
No.
Have you got a knife? Fine, not a problem. Okay, doesn't matter. Right, anyway, here we go. Address to the haggis.
Crisps.
Crisps. Doodly doodly doo. Fair for your honest sonsy face, great chief to know the pudding race. Abun the ma attack your place. Pinch triper therm wheel you wordy ower grace, as langs my arm. The groaning trencher there you fill, your hardies like a distant hill. Your pin was helped to mend the mill in time of need, and then through the pores your juice distill, like amber bead. His knife, see rustic labour dicht, and cut you up with ready slick. Sense in your gut and entrails brick like orange, and then oh, what a glorious sight! Warm, reeking, rich. Then horn for horn they stretch and strive, they'll take the hindmost on they drive, till all their whilst will keep alive or bent like dry, and all good men be slight to arrive. Bethink it hums. Is here the o'er his French ragout, or olio that would stow a sou, or fricassee would mac or spew for perfect dinner, look downward steered scorn for view and sick of dinner. Poor deal, same over his trash, as feckles as withered rash, his spindle shank a goop what lashes never knit, through bloody flood or field to dash. Oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic haggis bed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. Clap in his wally knee a blade, he'll mack it whistle, and legs, and arms, and heads, all sned, like taps a tristle. Your powers what mak mankind your care, and dish them out their billow fair. All Scotland wants nae skinking wear like jolts and luggies. And so if you give her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis. Wherever you are, to the haggis, or in this case to the haggis crisps, Slangevar.
Slangevar.
Slangevar. To the haggis.
To the haggis.
To the haggis crisps.
Crisps.
Do you know what's great about these is they're suitable for vegetarians. So if you at home you are a vegetarian and you've got a real need for the flavour of sheep.
Sheep's awful.
Sheep's awful.
Yes.
This is the place to go.
This is the one.
This is the place to go. Marvellous. That was fantastic, Simon. Thank you.
No problem.
That was very, very good indeed. I think they're going pretty well with the whiskey too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, very nice. There's
The spice, the cracked black
spiciness of
pepper.
the black pepper and the haggis there, yeah.
It's going beautifully. Going beautifully. Would you like to try a little some? Ooh. Tell me something. Okay.
Yeah.
We've heard what Burns is to generally for other people. What does it mean for you guys? I mean, can you tell me some experiences that you may have had? Something you may have happened to you at Burns night. Something you've done.
Many. How long have we got?
Francie, would you like to Kayleigh dance down memory lane?
Simon, there's nothing I would like more than to do a gay Gordon down memory lane.
Right, well,
mate.
I guess we're going to have to go back.
Shall I lead?
Yeah, fine, okay. We're going to have to go back to the beginning to when we met because Burns Night's all about remembrance, and actually, our friendship was cemented by our first Burns Night.
It was. So Simon and I first met in 2006 in a bar just off Trafalgar Square called Albanach, right?
Yes.
Scottish bar. And it was a fantastic bar. We loved that bar. We used to frequent it often, many times a week,
Yes.
actually.
Yes, we did.
In fact, so much so that the people that worked there actually thought we were staff. So it just seemed obvious that when Albanach were doing their first Burns night in the January of 2007, that they would ask the two Scots guys that never left the bar if they could host it.
Aye, we'd never hosted a Burns Night before. I mean, you learn Burns in school, primary school, you know, in Scotland at least. But we came out of retirement to host this Burns Night, and I mean, it went quite well.
It went more than that quite well. We're still doing it.
Well, I mean, so we've been lucky to host Burns Nights all over the world, and so I guess, you know, some of the more memorable experiences for me at least, I mean, there are many. Actually, we hired a helicopter to fly to Monaco on one occasion to do a Burns Night for His Royal Highness Prince Albert of Monaco.
There's a name drop, isn't there? Did you just drop that name? Who else was there? Who else was in the
Well,
audience?
his friends.
Oh.
I'm not intending to be showy, I'm just telling you what happened. Although I do remember, do you remember the story, well, the security?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, so, as Simon says, so we were invited to do a Burns Night. A couple actually, we've done a couple there.
Yeah, 3.
So, okay, 3. So, I didn't want to see. Right, anyway, so we were invited along, and on this occasion we were in the Hermitage Hotel. Have you been?
I have.
You've
yeah,
stayed there,
wonderful place.
right?
Many
Whenever
times,
you visit
many
Monte
times.
Carlo,
Yeah, it's the only
you've
place
got to stay at the
Only
Hermitage.
place to stay.
So, it was Prince Albert's 5-star hotel, the Hermitage Hotel, and we were in the Grand Ballroom. Okay, so the meal was created and devised by the Michelin star chef Michael Smith, who was at the Three Chimneys at that point. He's now got his own restaurant on Skye.
Right.
Who I want to check it out.
Well, we can.
But right, so Michael Smith devised this incredible seven course menu. Okay, and it was time for the haggis address, and we're just about to go on backstage, and Michael comes out because he's the chef, so he's going to be piped on with me, and he turns to me and he says, "Francie, is there any chance that you could use my knife to address the haggis?"
Fair enough.
That's fair enough, right? I thought, well, Michael, you're the chef, you're the guy that's created, you know, the incredible cuisine that we're eating tonight. It would be an honour for me to address the haggis with your knife. So he puts his knife on the trencher there, and we're walking out, and we're getting piped to it, and we're going round the room, and then we end up at the top table. So we're standing at the top table. There's me, to my right, there's Princess Charlene of Monaco, yes, and then to her right, there's His Serene Highness, Prince Albert II of Monaco.
Yes, I was behind you.
You were behind me. So, as you know, Simon's just done the poem. There's a point, so we start off, fair for your honest son's face, etc., etc. And then there's a point where you go, his knife, see rustic labour dicht. And you pull the knife out and you stab the haggis and you trench it in, the gushing entrails and all that, right? So we get to that point, right? We get to that point where it's his knife, see rustic labour dicht. And I grab the knife off the trencher and I go to pull the knife out of the sheath. It was in a sheath. His knife, nothing. His knife, nothing. I thought maybe my hands are sweaty. His knife, nothing. I was like, oh no, this isn't working. So I goes, what am I going to do? I look for the closest knife that's available, right?
Yeah.
And it happens to be Princess Charlene's butter knife. Just in front of me, I can see it out my eye. It's the first knife I see. So what do? I lunge forward and grab the knife. It's at that point that I notice the security that are surrounding the restaurant. They lunge forward. And I thought, this is my last Burns night ever. This might be my last day ever. I thought I was getting double tapped in the back of the head by a monegasque security guard. But fortunately, it wasn't Prince Albert's first Burns night. He waved them off. I picked up the knife. Well, I already had it. I stabbed up the haggis, and then I gave Princess Charlene this haggis-covered butter knife back.
Well, I mean,
but I lived to tell the tale. I honestly thought that was my last Burns night.
Thank goodness that.
Who would you have got to be standing beside you?
It's not always been like that. We've actually been very lucky also to host events. I guess for a different kind of royalty, whiskey royalty. Although we love lots of whiskies, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for the Bulveni. We went to the distillery to host a Burns night for the ladies and gentlemen who work at the distillery to make their.
I remember running round the table at one point and
So I mean, yeah, so many.
Tam O'Shanter around the table. I took my kid's horse. Remember the wee horse? I took, the wee hobby horse thing.
Yes.
I took that, and I was running round the table in the visitor centre in Balvenie. David Stewart sitting at the top, me running around with a hobby horse.
I am hoping you'd had a couple of drams at that.
Francie likes to be the centre of attention. No surprise, why not? Right? Actually, one other memory. We did an event for Facebook last year, which was great fun. But actually, if I think about it, the best Burns night experiences, for me at least, maybe also for you, is just relaxing, having fun with some friends, getting the whiskies in, having, whatever. You've seen us with some cheese and then obviously with some, haggis crisps, fine, whatever. You don't have to observe all the traditions. You can mix it up and just, have a laugh, spend some time with friends, come together.
That's it, Simon, with friends. Some of the greatest Burns nights are with friends. I had one with my friend Tommy. He hosted his Burns night. And it was a flat that he just moved out. I say a flat, it was more a porter cabin, right? So it was a one-bedroom porter cabin type thing, and he invited, there was 15 or 16 of us there, and his beautiful wife, Shanina, is from Argentina, and her brother was over, and he'd just arrived, and we made him do a Burns poem. So there was 15, 16 of us. Listen, the poems were rubbish, right?
Yeah.
The poems were rubbish. The food was incredible. The whiskey was even better. The cigars got involved. It didn't end well, I'm going to be honest, it didn't end well, but it was a fantastic experience, and that's one for me that stays in my heart.
And so we'd like to hear what your experiences have been. I know you're going to be celebrating your Burns night shortly. I hope you get something exciting planned, but comment, let us know what it is that you have planned, that'd be lovely. Now, you are tasting whiskey as you're watching, right? I mean, you're not just... sitting there without a dram.
I think, Simon, you're absolutely right. And if you are, then you have to be keeping up with us because we are now on to number 3, I think.
Okay, very nice.
We have something quite special here, I think, to try, which is...
Thank you very much.
There you go, sir.
Thank you very much.
Don't you worry, man, that's the bigger one.
I've got that, yeah.
Here we have something.
Oh, what's that?
This is very exciting stuff. So this is from Elements of Islay, which is from our sister company, Elixir Distillers. So you might be familiar with their peat bottling.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. This one is peat and sherry. So you remember the peat.
I think I've got peat foolproof at home. I've got a couple of bottles of that.
So imagine what they've done with this is they've taken that, peat foolproof, and they have moved it into a first fill Oloroso sherry cask for 3.5 to 4 years. And so you've gone from peat, and now you've got peat and sherry. This is basically Ronseal whiskey.
Okay, I see you've given me the...
what it says on the label.
I see you've given me the perfect measure. I've never had this whiskey. I was on the Isla.com website the other day checking out the whole...
Research, was it research?
Well, I mean, the thing is, maybe you guys feel the same, but at this point with the Whisky Exchange, you trust them to release whatever they release and you just buy it because you know it's going to taste great. So hats off to you. On Burns Night, I'm trying a whiskey which I think Billy has described as a velvet kiss with a glove or something. Is that right?
An iron fist in a velvet glove.
Right, to you, wherever you are, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Slange. When I nose this, I'm smelling. Are you familiar with the Polish sausage cabanos? It's a smoked sausage, smoked pork sausage going on. Yeah, it is. Getting lots of that. But you get that sweetness from the sherry, you get the smokiness. This is beautiful.
Is that your go-to sausage, is it, the cabanos?
I'm quite a fan, I have to say, of the cabanos. I am quite a fan. But personally, I'm not fussy. Sausages are sausages. They're always fine.
Now listen, here we are, obviously we're...
Wait a minute, is this a dessert whiskey?
Why? Do you have something in mind?
Well, I was thinking. We had the Arran.
Yeah.
We had the cheese and the oatcakes.
Yes.
Right, as our starter.
Yeah, delicious.
We had the Benroma 15.
With the haggis.
World's best whiskey.
Yeah.
Right, voted by you guys.
Yeah.
Haggis.
Crisps. Yeah.
We should have a dessert.
Great. I'm sure you've got something very nice planned, Francie, given that you presented 2 lovely dishes already.
Oh.
I have.
Some half-eaten caramel.
Tonics, caramel wafers.
Well, these are my favourites.
Tonics, caramel wafers.
Thanks so much.
Oh, you'd have a wee one. It's Tonics, caramel wafer.
I'm getting toffee, chocolate.
I'm getting, There's a bit of wafer in there.
A bit of wafer. I think that's going to go beautifully.
Milk chocolate, though. I mean, it's definitely milk chocolate.
Yeah, it's definitely milk chocolate.
Yeah. Okay, and then should we?
It's going to go beautifully.
That's the wrong. Hold on, that was the wrong way, wasn't it? Okay.
So sip first.
Sip first, then the bite, and then another sip. Okay.
I'm wondering how this is going to go with the smoked pork sausage, but we will see.
Well, listen. Spoiler alert! I've tried it. The two do not work together, but that's okay.
Well,
it's a personal taste. That's fine.
Taste,
Yeah. Opinions. Everyone's got one.
Nice. So experiment. Have a bit of fun.
It doesn't work straight away, does it? But then I'm going to add the whiskey to the wafer. See if that helps.
It doesn't. No. This is the thing with food and whiskey pairing, is the worst thing that can happen is you have some food and some whiskey separate from each other afterwards. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
okay. That was that.
Actually, you know what? Actually, the finish isn't bad. Sort of bringing out some toffee notes. It's toffee smoked popcorn. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, well, I've made it.
Have you?
Yeah,
That sounds like quite a pudding.
That was something else.
That sounds like a great idea, and what I would match with this whiskey.
Well, Alex, this has been so much fun. Thank you very much for inviting us down.
It is an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much, guys, for coming down, giving us your experiences, your fantastic poetry. That was.
Sorry about the mess.
Oh, that's all right. I'll clear it up later.
Sorry about the mess.
And thank you also to Sukhinder and Raj, owners of the Whisky Exchange. That reminds me, have you guys heard of the Bard of Bengal?
Oh, you're talking about Rabindranath Tagore, the guy that wrote the Indian national anthem.
I am, the very same.
Okay,
he was born a little time after Burns, about 102 years later, and he is said to have been inspired by Burns. Burns has obviously inspired many people around the world. And Rabindranath Tagore wrote a song called Purano Shaidainakota.
Purano Shaidainakota. I didn't know you spoke Hindi.
A little bit. Here and there. I dabble.
Nice pronunciation too.
Purano Shaidainakota. And this was Purano Shaidainakota.
Nice.
A response to Old Lang Syne. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I mean, obviously, as we near the end of our celebration with you here today, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
We normally have Old Lang Syne, a time for us all to raise our glasses and...
So a final toast for the evening, I think.
Yes, maybe to you, to your Burns Night celebration.
To Robert Burns.
Yes.
And to all those that he has inspired and continues to inspire.
Indeed, and in Hindi I believe it would be cheers. Chiyars, excuse the pronunciation, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes. And Slanjavar.
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 Oh. What a great whiskey to finish on. Fantastic.
Delicious.